The time has come for Kyle Tucker to make his Major League debut. July 7th, 2018. Tucker, before the game, walking out on the Minute Maid Park field for the first time and also taking some fly balls off the wall. He'll be playing left field tonight and batting seventh, getting a little rips in the cage as well. The Astros take on the White Sox in Game 3 of this 4-game series. It is the debut of Kyle Tucker. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another afternoon of Astros baseball. Todd Callis alongside Jeff Blum. We'll talk about Tucker in a little while, but Blummer so far so good this year for the Astros against the White Sox.
Yeah, they've done a good job so far, won every game against them, and that's what you want to do. The Central has some teams that you're able to go out there and beat up on. This is definitely one of them they want to do it to.
Special day, special buzz in the air. This will be the first of our many TED Talks.
Yes, TED Talks are now happening, and it is because Kyle Tucker is here, and they said that he draws comparisons to the great Ted Williams with that swing. And you see the progression over the years since Kyle has been in the minor leagues. He has earned the right to get up here into the big leagues. He is the 8th overall prospect in all of baseball, so now he is an Astro. I don't think they have much expectation other than him to come out and be Kyle Tucker. This is a lineup that is extremely deep, and he will hopefully mix right in and create even more depth. He is a great bat, goes gap to gap with that power, and has the ability to drive in runs.
We saw him this spring, and he just was unbelievable in spring training.
Yeah, we talk about labels. He came into spring training with that label and got into that clubhouse, got to mix it up with the guys. They had a good time with them, changed his nameplate to Ted. But when it came game time, he went out there and raked. There was a little bit of concern with that right arm maybe being a little bit of an arm bar, but we found out quickly that he can get to that inside pitch. He can take that off-speed pitch deep to right field and here inside out with plenty of power to go Oppo Taco.
He is in there in the 7th spot playing left field as we get ready for baseball on this Saturday afternoon. Astros go for 5 in a row and try and win the first 3 games of this homestand. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Our Best in Texas Power Pitcher is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Today's Astro starter, Charlie Morton.
It is CFM looking to back up some strong strikeout appearances for the two guys ahead of him against the Chicago White Sox team. And the last two starts show that he might have the potential to go out and rack up some more strikeouts. 24 strikeouts in those last two games. Charlie has become primarily that fastball, 95 to 99 miles an hour, and leaning heavy on that curveball, where the whiff percentage is close to 50%.
Charlie gets his first start as an Astro against the White Sox. Only faced them once previously in his career.
Gentlemen, gentlemen, gentlemen.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Ask questions and be familiar with everyone and see what they're thinking, and coming off a World Series win, and there's high expectations for that in this upcoming season, so I'm hoping to learn as much as I can, get out there and help them out.
That's Kyle Tucker on the 2018 Astros ball club before the season started. Now 91 games in, Kyle Tucker is a part of this group, and if he asked Tim Fedorovich, he might tell him what he told us last night. This is such a fun lineup to be a part of. This group scored 11 runs last night. Ted missed that one, but hopefully we do it again tonight. However, the 11 runs by them, scoring double digits, they do that often. They've done it 11 times so far this year, and they did it last night in that win. It's been a lot of fun to watch this offense for several years, but they've continued to do what they do here recently. Imagine the excitement for Kyle, though, as he shows up today, slotted in the 7-hole with this offense. He's 21 years old, but he can hang with them, or he's going to prove that he can. That's what he told the media before today's game. Our Shiner Box Spotlight's going to look closer at Kyle Tucker and some of his stats. As you know, he is young coming in, but he was the 5th overall pick out of high school there in Tampa in 2015, just behind Alex Bregman, a couple slots down. And then his brother, Preston Tucker, had made his major league debut with the Houston Astros just before that today, and he said he's trying not to be overwhelmed today. The goal is to play the same game he always has, getting that advice from his brother Preston as well. And guys like George Springer said they remember their debut well and all the feelings of trying to fit in pretty quickly and show that you belong. But for Tucker, they want him to get his at-bats. They want him to get acclimated to the big leagues, play good defense, no pressure, no other expectation than that. Oh, yeah, and enjoy the first day because you only get one, right, guys?
Oh, no doubt about it. Plummer, you've been through it. I can't imagine what he felt like running out of the dugout for the first time.
Yeah, it will never happen again, and there will never be another feeling like it. There is, when you show up and your name is stitched onto the back of a jersey and you get to put it on knowing that you're going to be in that lineup and get to run out there in front of the home fans, It is a wonderful thing, and obviously the expectation and the desire that he has to be here makes it that much greater.
He's a kid who runs low on the pulse meter, but you've got to think right now that adrenaline is flowing pretty strong as he gets ready for his Major League debut. Here's the lineup for the Chicago White Sox this afternoon. Yoan Moncada and Yolmer Sanchez. A couple of switch hitters stay at the top of the lineup for Rick Renteria, Jose Abreu, and Avisail Garcia. A couple of righties followed by Daniel Palka. Matt Davidson. Omar Narvaez has been hot lately. He's the catcher batting 7th. Tim Anderson hits 8th at shortstop. And the center fielder, Adam Engel, bats 9th.
It's been a fun time for Justin Verlander and Lance McCullers against these Chicago White Sox. I expect the same from Charlie Morton, considering what he's done the last couple of starts. His last 2 starts, he's got 24 strikeouts, 13 against Toronto, 11 against Tampa Bay, adding to those 133 that he has on the season. That record at 10-2 is a beautiful number. A couple of these Astro pitchers getting to that 10 plateau. But Charlie Morton is heavy on the fastball, heavy on the curveball. He threw it almost 38% of the time last time out. Hitters hitting 115 against that curveball.
We are underway with a fastball for a called strike as Morton delivers to Yoan Moncada. Moncada comes in with a 5-game hitting streak. Glad he could join us. Fun afternoon in store, as this will be a day that the Astros hope to continue their winning streak, trying to improve to a 5-game winning streak, and also trying to improve to 6-0 against the White Sox on the season. But it will also be a day that will be remembered especially fondly by Kyle Tucker as he makes his big league debut. And he will bat 7th and play left field today. 1-2 the count to Moncada as he sends one to right. Josh Reddick is there, comes in a few steps, and that's how this game starts. Defensively, the name Tucker in there for the first time other than a spring training game earlier this season on AT&T Sportsnet. George Springer, Josh Reddick in center and right respectively. The infield back to Bregman and Gonzalez on the left side. Marwin playing short in place of Carlos Correa on the DL. Jose Altuve and Yuli Gurriel, and Max Stassi behind the plate. Here's Yolmer Sanchez. There's a curveball for a called strike. Angel Hernandez calling balls and strikes today. That fastball just flew by him. It's 0-2. Charlie has never faced the White Sox as a member of the Houston Astros. Last time he pitched against them was 2015 with the Pirates. That went well. He went 7 innings of 4-hit shutout baseball in that start. Called third strike. A fastball at the top part of the strike zone. Sanchez thought it was up, but Angel Hernandez says that's a good pitch. Strikeout number 1 for Charlie Morton.
Yeah, Angel might have looked back at him and said, hey, you just got locked up on 96 on the inner third. Catching the top part of the zone. A lot of edginess in that of AB, according to our MD Anderson strike zone.
That's a good sign early if Charlie's getting that tweener high pitch called for a strike.
Absolutely.
And he starts off this AB to Jose Abreu with a firm fastball for a strike. Charlie coming off an 11 strikeout performance against Tampa Bay after a 13 strikeout performance against the Toronto Blue Jays. And wow, dugout scatters as Abreu pulls one into his own dugout on the third base side. Angel had a couple of extra cups of coffee today. He runs out there and retrieves that baseball.
Yeah, he over boogied. What a long way to get that one.
They do have bat boys for that.
Yeah, there is help if you need it. Feeling spry this afternoon.
Oh, 2 pitch misses inside. It's 1-2. Abreu 1 for 15 over his last 5 games. Still leads the team in runs batted in with 50. And he goes down swinging. Charlie Morton, couple of strikeouts, a 1-2-3 first. Off to a fine start for the Astros today. Springer, as usual, at the top of the lineup, followed by Alex Bregman, Jose Altuve, and Yuli Gurriel. Josh Reddick, the first lefty that will face James Shields today. Evan Gattis, 4 RBIs off of last night's game. The debut of Kyle Tucker, Max Stassi behind the plate, and Marwin Gonzalez playing shortstop.
Veteran right-hander James Shields going for the Chicago White Sox. 18 starts this season. Not a very good record at 3-9. Fighting through some things. He has changed that arm angle a little bit, kind of dropped down, and is throwing more sliders than that vaunted changeup that he's had in his career. He's got pretty good numbers against left-handed hitters. They're hitting 194 against him.
He'll face the Astros for the second time this season, and did not really look smooth on that first delivery as he kind of landed awkwardly. 1-0 the count to George Springer. It's a different looking delivery than I've usually seen from James Shields.
A little bit of a crossfire, yeah. He was a little more traditional over the top.
Ball's hit high in the air towards right. Garcia drifting towards the line, has a play and puts it away for out number 1. Oh, Springer flies out to right for the first out of the bottom of the first inning. That'll bring up Alex Bregman. Astros outscoring the White Sox 27-2 in the series in Chicago back in April. In this series, they've outscored them by the score of 15-7. Last night, 11-4 opening game, a 4-3 walk-off. Alex Bregman right in the mix of that walk-off as he drew a walk. To load the bases, eventually Yuli Gurriel would pick up his first big league walk-off. Alex takes a called strike. A lot of starts, a lot of innings in the career of 36-year-old James Shields, his 391st start. And he's up to 2,525 innings pitched. Ground ball sharply hit towards short. Tim Anderson is there. Makes the play for out number 2. Astros starting the day with a little bit of an increase in their lead in the AL West. A win last night combined with a Mariners loss to the Colorado Rockies, and the Astros are 2.5 games up in the AL West. So good news last night for the Astros in terms of moving up in the standings by picking up a game. Not really moving up, but increasing their lead. And Jose Altuve also had a good night as he moved up to first place in the batting race, taking over Mookie Betts' spot with a 3-hit game last night. And he drills one down the left field line, and that is a fair ball towards the corner. Palka will not have a chance to play it as it bounces out of play. Jose Altuve a double with 2 outs.
Good job by Jose Altuve. On our Mattress Firm Supermo, you can see the arm angle that James Shields is trying to create. That was a 4-seam fastball raked down that left field line. It's amazing how pedestrian Jose Altuve can make hitting look sometimes. But as he rockets that ball down the left field line, he just puts his head down and trots gleefully into second base, putting himself in scoring position for Yuli with 2 outs.
Yuli with that .423 batting average with runners in scoring position. Had another 2 RBI game last night. That fly ball down the line that we questioned stayed a sacrifice fly, was not ruled a double. Sac fly and an error 9 on Avisail Garcia. Yuli also had an RBI hit for the first run of the game yesterday. Shields has missed on a couple of cutters away.
Got a StatCast on Altuve, powered by AWS. With that ball rocketed down the line at almost 106 miles an hour.
I want to say his average exit velocity has been better this year than it was in his MVP year.
I agree.
He's hitting some rockets this season. Not all of them have left the ballpark. Although his last 3 that have been home runs here at Minute Maid Park have all landed up on the train tracks. Two and 1 the count to Yuli. Yuli 3 for 6 with a couple of doubles against Shields in his career. And a foul off the catcher, Omar Narvaez. It's 2-2. Astros face Shields on April 20th in Chicago, guaranteed rate field. Shields lasting 5 1/3 innings, allowing 7 earned runs. Down low, wouldn't chase the changeup. It's 3-2. Astros won that game. Verlander versus Shields. First time the White Sox faced the Astros this year. 10-0 was the final score. Called third strike. He caught the inside corner, and that'll end the bottom half of the first inning. And Altuve double and 1 man left on base.
Win of the season, carried a no-hitter into the 6th, struck out a career high of 12, and he told us last night he had a great flow. He was working quick, working well with Federovich, throwing everything for strikes and getting punch-outs with all 3 pitches, which is how far he's come. AJ said he's not pitching careful here lately, and that's made the biggest difference. Also, guys, pitching with 2 extra days of rest, and Lance said, you know, getting older, I just know where my body needs to be in order to make these pitches, and it's not as easy as it sounds. You just have to find ways, and with his maturation process, something we say a lot with him, that comes with it. So felt really good. Didn't even throw an extra bullpen, just kept throwing, and has felt really sharp in his last few outings, but definitely good to see another night like that for Lance.
Yeah, all 3 early were established, and that kind of set the tone for the night.
Threw a ton of curveballs, but he had a great feel for it the last 2 starts.
Yeah, we've seen that Lance McCullers A+ curveball come back into play. Here's a ball towards left center. Kyle Tucker gets his first chance and makes the play, cutting across in front of George Springer.
Pitching performance is going to be powered by Kubota. There's some of the numbers. Strikeout career highs for Astros. Verlander hit 14 again on May 1st. He's done that. That ties a career high. But Garrett Cole, Charlie Morton, Lance McCullers all setting career highs in this season. Lance with those 12 last night.
I mean, that would be impressive if you're talking about guys in the league for 2 or 3 years, but
yeah,
you're talking about like Charlie Morton's. Even Garrett Cole has been around for a little while. Obviously, Justin Verlander, the distinguished career with the Tigers, and all these guys reaching their career marks in strikeouts this season. Charlie's coming a couple of starts ago as he gets a called strike, or second highest totals a couple of starts ago. Struck out 13 Blue Jays after striking out 14 Rangers back in May. Called strike, 1 and 2 early on. It seems like Angel Hernandez is going to be a pitcher's friend today. Saw James Shields get a pitch on Yuli Gurriel that was possibly off the plate inside. That one just misses. It's 2-2.
Yeah, if you get that call right there, that's a large plate to try and cover.
Trying to hold up. He went around. Palka, a strikeout victim. That is 3 for Charlie of the first 5 batters.
I'll say that's 7 strikeouts in this series so far for Palka. Back-to-back hat tricks in the first 2 games. But this is a power breaking ball down in the zone, unable to hold off.
Astros piling up the strikeouts while the White Sox pitchers have been piling up the walks. Verlander had 10 the first night. Colors another dozen last night. Meanwhile, the White Sox starters, Carlos Rodon with 6 walks, Ronaldo Lopez with 5. They've totaled 15 walks in this series before today, to the Astros 1 from their stack. And Charlie ahead 0-2 on Matt Davidson. Early on, Charlie Morton looks very sharp. He had that curveball working well in his last couple of starts, and that's looking good again today. The thing with Charlie is being able to get that rhythm and timing down. We saw him lose that for a couple of starts where he walked 4 or more in 3 consecutive starts, including that 6-walk, 4-hit batter game against the Rangers in Texas. Swing and a foul tip caught by Stassi. Another 2 strikeouts for Charlie. He has K'd for the first 6 batters. Kyle Tucker will bat third.
Presented to you by TXU Energy. It is Josh Reddick right here at Minute Maid Park since 2017, the first year of that 4-year contract for Josh. He has been lighting it up. Both of those numbers at the bottom you see lead the Houston Astros since 2017 right here at Minute Maid Park. He has endeared himself with his personality, but he backs it up with those numbers.
While the rest of the team hits better on the road, this is the one guy that has always hit well here at Minute Maid Park as Josh Reddick takes a pitch inside from James Shields. It's 1-0. Reddick has the best numbers in this lineup in his career against Shields. 9 for 28, 2 doubles and a triple, and also 3 home runs. Shields in his career has allowed a lot of home runs, although he's been better at limiting damage with the long ball the last season. In 2015 and 16, he allowed more home runs than any other pitcher.
Reddick misses that pitch. It's 1-2. It'll be Reddick, Evan Gaddis, and Kyle Tucker making his big league debut. Will hit third in this inning. Swing and a miss. Shields able to get Josh Reddick. And his second strikeout in a row for James in the first out of the second inning. Shields says he keeps reinventing himself at age 36. The veteran going to the sidearm delivery last season. And not quite a full sidearm, but certainly more sidearm than it used to be.
Well, and that stride's not going directly towards home plate either. He's stepping right at that right-handed hitter, creating a little bit of a crossfire action. But that slider really sweeps. He hasn't thrown that changeup as much as he has in the past. But he's trying to create that arm side run with that fastball also to stay away from some of those left-handed hitters, which I think has helped him stay in the ballpark.
And the fastball now you just saw topping out around 89. That first pitch was a called strike to Evan. That was pretty close to the pitch Yuli Gurriel was called out on. Now pitch away that Evan holds up. It's 1-1. Gaddis, 18 home runs, 61 RBIs coming into this game. Leading the team in both categories, hitting his 18th last night to cap off a 7-run 8th inning. Astros led 4-1 heading into the bottom of the 8th. And left that half inning up 10, ended up winning the game 11-4. And now it's 2-2. Off the end of the bat. There is Kyle Tucker awaiting that moment, his first major league plate appearance. 21 years old and 171 days. Gaddis sends one deep to left field. That'll send Palka to the track, to the wall. He will jump. And this ball's off the wall. Evan Gaddis with a double off the out-of-town scoreboard.
Evan had almost gotten to a slider earlier in this at-bat. This one he does get to, skies it, and plays it off the Crawford box to put himself in scoring position for Kyle Tucker.
First time Kyle Tucker played at Minute Maid Park in an Astros uniform, he hit a grand slam home run. That came against the Brewers in the exhibition game. Played both of those against Milwaukee here at Minute Maid Park before the season started. No batting gloves.
First time this season the Astros will have back-to-back hitters using no batting gloves.
That's a great stat. At 21 years, 171 days, he is the youngest active player in the American League. This will be the first of what should be a number of at-bats in his career here with the Houston Astros. He will be up here You'd imagine at least through the All-Star break, we'll see how this whole thing plays out. But facing a guy in James Shields he watched as a kid in Tampa when Shields was the main man in the Rays starting rotation. Shields gets him to swing through that pitch. It's 1-1. Shields would come across from Tampa, went to play in high school, to 10 games at Tropicana Field, and during those years Shields was the main guy in that rotation for Tampa Bay. Tried to hold up, and he does. It's 2-1.
Youngest Astro to make his debut since Carlos Correa in 2015, and Carlos did it against these White Sox.
3-1.
Well, Carlos got his first big league hit against the White Sox and first big league home run. Good hitters count.
We'll have to watch to see if Tucker goes to the third after every pitch, because that could just be that first major league at bat, trying to get comfortable in there.
James Shields not giving in to the young man. A bit of a wrinkle in there. Maybe a cut or slider. 86.
Called third strike on the inside corner. Kyle Tucker strikes out in his first big league at bat. Gets a nice hand.
Salty veteran, not giving in the hitter's counts. Goes back to that power slider at 87 miles an hour.
Three strikeouts for Shields. That'll bring up Max Stassi. Stassi misses the first pitch. It's 0-1. Heavy on the cutter in this game so far for James Shields. That ball's hit into center field. That'll be down for an RBI base hit. Headed towards the wall. Engel will cut it off. Gaddis scores. Max Stassi, an RBI double. Astros in front 1-0.
Saw Stassi's counterpart do that yesterday also, going to the opposite field gap. They were playing Stassi in the outfield pretty far to the pull side. That's why Engel is nowhere near this, but Stassi does a good job of staying on this slider, going the other way. Big two-out RBI. And again, that's the beauty of this lineup. They are deep. If there's any outs left in the inning, you know they're going to take advantage of some opportunities to drive in runs. It's good to see him on the board early again, too.
Now Shields will face Marwin Gonzalez, batting in the 9 spot for the first time this year. Just the 4th time. In the last 3 seasons, Marwin has batted 9th. Did it 3 times last year. Didn't bat in the 9th spot in 2016, and this is his first shot at the bottom of the order this year. See if Marwin can pick up another 2-out RBI off the end of the bat into center field. Engel is there, and he will put it away. But the Astros on the board first. A couple of doubles. Gaddis and Stassi. It's 1-0.
Kyle Tucker here. Which Astros player debut from recent seasons is your favorite? George Springer in 14. McCullers Jr. was 2015. So was Carlos Correa. And Alex Bregman made his debut in 2016. Vote, tweet us. Tweet us what you remember about that game, too. We'd love to see them. We will tell you which one wins later in the broadcast.
Well, you and Julian Blummer, you were here for all those debuts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where was the hype level? Was Correa's the
Correa.
biggest? Yeah.
For
Correa
me.
was a big one. We were pretty excited about George Springer.
Yes.
Especially what was going on in 13 and 14 and some of the tough times we were watching play out in front of us. But we were pretty excited about the numbers he was putting up in the minor leagues. And to see him finally play in front of us was fun.
Yeah, Julia's being extremely polite. George came up a little bit at a little bit older age than some of these guys coming up at 20, 21 years old. But George was putting up 40-40 type numbers in the minor leagues, and we were sitting there watching 2013-14 going, hey, not only could the team use this guy, we could use this guy. Something to talk about.
1-1 the count to Omar Narvaez. We see the personality now. Did that play right away, or did it take a little while for the rookie shyness with George?
It was pretty quick.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
He was pretty quick. Dexter Fowler was on the team that year, and he was a pretty outgoing guy. And so George immediately had an outgoing outfielder right there with him. And George showed his personality right off the bat.
Now we see it on a daily basis as Charlie Morton, who just is as calm as can be out there, shows very little emotion, and he already has 5 strikeouts in this game of the first 7 batters. Charlie just goes about his business. Never too up, never too down. Very matter of fact, very similar to what we see in the post-game interviews if you watch those interviews after our broadcast. Here's a called strike to Tim Anderson.
I think the best thing about Charlie is when other teams come through here, or he's pitching on a certain day in a different ballpark, and the opposing broadcasters come over and ask us. Because I always get the conversation about Charlie. You faced him. And I said, yeah. I go, this is not the same guy. And they go, what did he do? I'm like, I don't know. And I go, we've even asked Charlie, and he doesn't know. He kind of haphazardly said Pilates maybe or something, where he's a little more loose. But you Todd talked about the delivery of Charlie Morton, but I wonder how much of that actually is translated into getting that extra velocity, having, a little bit smoother, more simple delivery for Charlie Morton. Because the ball absolutely jumps out of his hand.
No, it's crazy. This we mentioned, he faced this team in 2015, but you can almost take all those numbers from before 2016 off the board. This is a different guy now. Showed it in a very brief glimpse with the Phillies in 2016 before he was injured for the rest of the season, and obviously showed it with the Astros last year and this year. Swing and a miss. He's just rolling along with 6 strikeouts of the first 8 batters. Anderson goes down swinging.
One thing about this starting rotation, we talked about how electric they are with the stuff, but you almost feel as soon as they get that strike 3, they kind of turn the page instantly and put their mindset towards the next hitter.
Here's Adam Engel. Engel had a couple of good at-bats last night, a single run scored, and he was robbed on a great play by Jake Marisnick. By the way, that was the corresponding move today for Kyle Tucker coming up the big leagues. Jake Marisnick sent back to the minor leagues for his second stint with Fresno. Look forward to seeing Jake and those great catches come back to the team shortly. He won't be down there for very long, we wouldn't think. It's 1-1 the count to Engel.
Yeah, that's a tough one with Jake just because he is so fan-friendly and team-friendly. He's a great guy to have in that clubhouse, the great relationships. But the move was made, and the way Tony Kemp had been playing here in the last month or so kind of kept him on the ball club.
Astros are a very right-hand hitting team also, and an extra lefty in that lineup doesn't help. Engel tried to hold up, and he couldn't. It's 1-2.
But Jake is always going to play very good defense. He got a phenomenal jump and was laying out for Brad Peacock, and that is what we have become accustomed to seeing from Jake. Just sprawling out, throwing his body all over the field to pick up his pitchers. 1-2 the
Love StatCast. That seemed like it was more than a 3-star catch, but that's what they ruled it last night. Jake continues to make incredible plays defensively this year for the Astros.
Yeah, it's a good thing we don't run StatCast, or else Jake would just be a 5-star the whole way through.
He'd be leading every category. This guy at the plate's right up there amongst the top guys defensively. Adam Engel, count of 2-2. Last night, Lance McCullers picked up 6 strikeouts of the first 9 batters. In fact, he struck out 6 out of the last 7 in the lineup for the first time. Justin Verlander struck out 6 White Sox the first time through the lineup on Thursday. And now Charlie has struck out 6 of the first 9 as Adam Engel flies out to center field to end the inning. 3 innings. Charlie Morton rolling with a 1-0 lead.
The Astros have been doing that at home. When they win, it turns into the shenanigans. Jake as always seems to be in on it, messing with Jose Altuve. Little talcum powder party after last night's, or after the first game of this series against the White Sox, Yuli. These guys know how to have a good time.
This team definitely is right up there amongst the major league leaders in fun for sure. They have a great time out there, and especially when you're walking games off like they have at least once in each of the last 4 series at home. George Springer leads things off and takes a called strike. Back to the top of the lineup here in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Astros with 3 doubles in this game. Jose Altuve, Evan Gattis, and Max Stassi. Pitch misses the George. It's 1-1. Astros off to another quick start with their starting pitcher, just like Justin Verlander and Lance McCullers Jr. last night. Charlie Morton out quickly today against this White Sox team that leads all of Major League Baseball in strikeouts. There's a ball ripped into left field. George Springer on a 1-1 pitch, a single to left. He's a leadoff base runner in the 3rd. Seeing some signs of George slowly coming out of this.
Yeah, you got that game-tying hit the first game of this series, and then the base hit he got yesterday, ball middle in, down, punched it back up the middle the other way, and that's what you want to see is a guy who's not in panic mode, and George is starting to come around a little bit, seeing the baseball good, seeing it for a long time, and then getting the barrel to it. And some of the bats he's using right now might have a couple of extra hits left in them.
And those bats would be?
Jose Altuve's.
There's a ball, base hit in the center. Springer had to hold up ever so briefly, although with Engel out there may not have had a chance to advance either way. But back-to-back singles, Alex Bregman and George Springer, 5 hits for the Astros. And their first 2 singles of the game in this inning.
That look that Alex Bregman gave to the dugout almost gave you the impression that he's like, yeah, that's what I do. I did hit lasers.
So the Altuve bat that Springer's using might be getting him out of a little funk, and now
Well, it hopefully got him out of the funk. Maybe he's going to go back to his own lumber now and start driving the ball all over the field. We'll have to check up on that.
Altuve's been on base 5 straight times, 3 singles and an intentional walk to end the game last night, and a double to start the game today. Altuve now with at least a hit in each of his last 15 starts at home. Julia, what's the latest on Springer's bat situation?
Yeah, up to the minute here. George Springer has gone back to his own bats. He said Altuve's bats are too big for him.
What?
He likes the smaller bat.
Altuve swings a 33-inch bat. How much smaller can you get?
George has one.
Oh, man, I want confirmation on that. I want to see that toothpick he's swinging. George.
I'll work on that.
George is a strong human.
Into center field, Engel bat. George is tagging at second. He will advance to third. Engel's throw comes into second. Altuve flies out to center. That's the first out of the third inning. Julie said, I'll work on that, get back to you.
Well, I have a tendency to go down in the equipment room and talk to some old buddies down there. Tweedy, Carl Snyder, the clubhouse attendants, and in their office is the bats, all of the bat lockers. And when guys aren't looking, I go in there, I'm like, ooh, what's he swinging? What's he swinging? Altuve swings a 33-inch, 31-ounce bat.
Not knowing the dynamics of bats like you do, just going off strength, I have to agree with you. George is a big boy.
Oh, my gosh.
And
yeah.
And he can't handle Altuve's bat.
Well, 33 and a half, 30 and a half is what George swings with the axe handle.
So a half-ounce lighter and a half-inch longer.
That half ounce makes a big difference, I guess.
I don't know, but this is digging up one good story for me later.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've got work to do.
Jeff Bagwell is a guy who didn't swing a very big bat either. 33-inch bat.
Bregman bluffs to go as Yuli misses that first pitch. It's 0-1. Yuli struck out looking his first time up. Batting for the second straight time with a runner in scoring position. First and third, 1 out. The White Sox do employ the shift against Yuli Gurriel, which, while it is the best defense in preventing hits, isn't always the best defense in turning a double play. Ball into left field, hit well. Palka going back. He's at the wall. He's looking up, and this is gone. Yuli Gurriel, a 3-run home run, and the Astros take a 4-0 lead.
La Piña power.
Yuli now with 8 runs batted in his last 5 games. He's moving up the charts on the Astros leaderboard as everybody congratulates him with a little tussling of La Piña. That ball landed about 6 rows deep in the Crawford boxes. First pitch swinging is Reddick, bounces off Davidson, but he recovers in time to get Josh for the second out of the inning.
Yuli Gurriel on our MD Anderson strike zone gets a hanging breaking ball and launches it 68 miles an hour coming in. Goes out a little bit quicker. And StatCast powered by AWS is going to give you an idea of how quickly it came off the bat. Only at 94.9 miles an hour, but a 32-degree launch angle creates that 361 feet. And it's always nice when you angle it towards those Crawford boxes.
He threw that under 70 miles an hour.
It said 68. Wow. Stay back.
Well, that's what I'm surprised at, because usually you would think a hitter would have a tough time staying back on a breaking ball that slow.
Well, Yuli, to begin with, is a very good hitter, but Yuli at the same time, he's one of those guys, when we hear Jeff Bagwell talk about hitting off the fastball, I believe Yuli is a guy who hits off the fastball. He gets ready as if the fastball is coming, and the entire body can move forward, but his hands stay back so well that he adjusts to the off speed, but to stay back on 68 miles an hour, that's next level special.
Astros continue their streak of hitting a home run in consecutive games as Gaddis goes down on 3 pitches. Astros have hit a homer in 14 straight. Yuli, this one.
It is. You hang it, they'll bang it. Big 3-run shot from Yuli, putting the Astros up by a little bit more, 4-0.
Good crowd here on a Saturday afternoon, and the Astros are giving them a lot to cheer about. A 4-0 lead with Charlie Morton on the mound. Charlie facing Yoan Moncada. Yolmer Sanchez, Jose Abreu, the top of the order for the second time around. Charlie first time through the lineup, 6 strikeouts and 3 fly ball outs. Got Moncada to fly out to right to start the game. Called strike at the top of the zone. It's 1-2. Angel Hernandez, hearing it from the White Sox dugout, put his hand out and said, "Yeah, that's about enough." The White Sox dugout has not been happy with his umpiring crew during the series.
You can complain all you want about the umpires. Think about the pitching you're facing.
Right.
These guys are nasty.
They're facing Verlander, McCullers, Morton on 3 consecutive games. Verlander and McCullers went 7 innings combined for 22 strikeouts in 14 innings of work.
But it also might be compounding the fact that they're just, these guys are tough enough and you got to give them a bigger zone.
There's the first hit of the day for the White Sox, a base hit by Moncada into right field.
League leaders are presented by Houston Methodist. Astro pitchers going out there racking up strikeouts at a pretty alarming rate. Garrett Cole leading the way with 158. Just behind him is Justin Verlander, Charlie Morton, Lance McCullers, and Dallas Keuchel. Those starting 5 doing a very good job leading the way for the Astros as far as strikeouts are concerned. And to be expected because they spend a lot of time on that mound and they have the stuff to get the swing and miss.
Here's Yolmer Sanchez. Sanchez sends one to right field, and that'll be down to the wall for a base hit. Moncada heads to third. He will be held there as Reddick gets the throw back in. The White Sox with back-to-back base hits, their first 2 runners of the game, and they have second and third with nobody out.
Maybe sitting on the breaking ball early because they know Charlie's going to try and throw it for more of a strike than that strikeout curveball that he does have. Coming right back into the swing of Yolmer Sanchez at 77 miles an hour. He does a good job of getting the barrel to it. Tough task for Charlie right now, trying to leave those guys there, going through the middle part of this order.
Well, Charlie has been able to pick up some strikeouts today, and now with the infield back, we'll face Jose Abreu with nobody out in second and third. Abreu was a strikeout victim his first time up. Takes pitch for a called strike. In the air foul. Reddick gives it a look, but that's going to head into the crowd. Now Charlie ahead 0-2. Will be looking for a strikeout here. Mentioned earlier, the White Sox lead all of baseball in strikeouts offensively. The second most strikeouts, the team that the Astros just faced, the Texas Rangers. Just a piece at the plate. Abreu stays alive. Abreu will find out his fate tomorrow night, but more than likely he will be the starting first baseman for the American League All-Stars. He led in votes all the way through. Announcement will be made at 6 o'clock Central tomorrow for the 2018 All-Star rosters. Swing and a miss. Stassi doesn't need to tag him as Abreu leaves the plate. That's a big strikeout for Morton. 1 out in the inning. Runner stayed second and third. Join the Astros next Saturday as 10,000 fans in attendance will receive a Justin Verlander K-Counter bobblehead presented by AT&T. For tickets and info, visit astros.com/promotions. Verlander will take on his former team in that final series, the Detroit Tigers. You can count up the K's right along with Justin as he faces the Tigers the day before the All-Star break. Here's Avisail Garcia. Taking pitch a little bit low for a ball. It's 1-0. Garcia flied out to left his first time up. This is the curveball. It's 1-1. Garcia's been about as hot as any of the White Sox hitters lately over his last 9 games. Avisail batting .390 with 5 home runs. Hit a 2-run home run in last night's game with 2 outs in the 9th. And taps one foul, and Charlie ahead 1-2.
Got our sack fly meter out there in the outfield. Brought to you by StatCast. That'll take into account the base runner, the arm strength out there, that red zone. Probably shouldn't tag on that. But anything behind that, I bet you're going to see Moncada try and force the issue. It gives you a good idea of the depth of fly ball that some of these base runners at third base might be looking at. I wouldn't be surprised if anything to left field, they try and test the young arm of Kyle Tucker.
Well, there's going to be a lot of firsts today for Kyle Tucker. That was our first StatCast overlay for him in the outfield in his major league career. So we've got that going. But yeah, I would say why not see what that arm has to show in this first outing out there. Not like you're putting a lot of base runners on in the early part of the game against Charlie Morton. 2-2. That breaking ball just missed on the 1-2 pitch. And Garcia holds up on the 2-2 pitch. Now the count's full. Interesting pitch selection coming up here for Charlie. He was able to get Garcia to chase a couple of curveballs to get behind in the count. Didn't chase the last one. There is a base open, but with a 4-run lead, you'd rather be aggressive on the mound. Curveball sent high in the air, deep to left field, sending Kyle Tucker all the way back. He is near the track, near the wall, and he makes the play. Moncada will score easily. Tagging and going to third is Sanchez. Tucker Had to navigate that little insert there in the outfield wall by the visitors' bullpen for the second out.
Good play. Astros will exchange that out for a run. Good job of staying with it. And I was actually watching George Springer on that play as Kyle went drifting back there, and I'm sure that George was screaming words of encouragement and letting him know that he had plenty of room to go out there and make that play. Don't worry about the wall coming in. Stay on that ball and make the play.
That's not an easy part of the park, though, for your first major league game.
Yeah, it's a limited left field, but it will test you.
Just because there are portions of that wall that jut out, and then the other areas are indented a little bit, as you see. Kyle found that little indentation on the right side of that wall by the Tito's sign. Here's a called strike. It's 1-1. Daniel Palka struck out his first time up. And he fouls this one away. It's 1-2. So White Sox getting on the board with a sacrifice fly. It's a 4-1 game. Avisail Garcia, who has been limited to 34 games this year due to a hamstring injury, knocks in his 16th run of the year. Now Charlie trying to finish off the inning ahead 1-2 on Palka. Swing and a miss. Charlie gets him with the curveball. That is 7 strikeouts, make it 8 for Charlie Morton. And the White Sox score for the first time. It's 4-1.
Here, it was a long night for Kyle as he had to get a car service to Sacramento from Fresno. So 3 hours there, then gone on a red-eye flight to come to Houston. He spent all night flying, didn't get any sleep, and was the first one in the clubhouse today. And AJ Hinch met him in there. Got to talk to him just a little bit, tell him to enjoy this first day as you only get one. But Kyle Tucker, no stranger to the guys in this dugout, for sure, with the Major League spring training for him. And he said, you know, that first day of Major League spring training, he had to face live BP and face Justin Verlander. So that kind of got him feeling pretty good about things in the big league level, and got a little more comfortable that day, and has been waiting for this day since.
Yeah, not a lot of sleep, and I wouldn't think even if he tried to go to sleep, there wouldn't be much.
Yeah, he'll sleep like a champ tonight.
Down to the count here, 0-2 after striking out his first time up. For you, the difference between your first Major League at bat and second Major League at bat?
Night and day. I was, my head was spinning so fast that first AB. I faced Matt Clement, and I started in that game. It wasn't a pinch hit, but my head was spinning, and I struck out on 4 pitches, a curveball.
He goes down swinging here. The ball gets away, though, and Narvaez will have to make the long throw and does. And Tucker strikes out for his second straight time.
And I had the biggest smile on my face because I struck out in the big leagues, and I just wanted to be in the big leagues and experience it. But after those, I realized where I was at in that second AB. All of a sudden, it sets in. You're like, I have an opportunity here to really create a foundation in a career and really enjoy the time. But it doesn't become a job real quick, but it becomes your reality real quick, that you have a chance to be in the big leagues for a little while.
Where was yours?
I was in Montreal in front of about 4,000 people. They didn't really publish it well enough. No, there wasn't much fanfare up in Montreal. Great place to play, but there were some thin crowds in the late 90s.
Shields now with 5 strikeouts, getting Tucker a couple of times, and now facing Max Stassi. Stassi drove in the first run of the game with an RBI double into right center field. Hopefully we'll see Tucker here in his 3rd or 4th at bat. Feel a little more calm at the plate with each successive plate appearance as Max Stassi takes a pitch for a ball. It's 1-2. The good thing about Tucker, the fact that he's joining this team, this is already a team that is on pace for the most wins in Astros history. They've already got the biggest run differential in baseball. Kind of a different vibe than maybe some of those other guys who made their debuts that were counted on for more, like a Carlos Correa.
No, I completely agree. And that thing with Carlos is it was that 2015 year, and you kind of felt that they were on the precipice of being very good, and and instead of saying let's go out and trade for a free agent, you knew you had something internally, and that was Carlos Correa. And it's a completely different situation. Kyle Tucker is just another diamond that they're trying to move into that lineup.
Yeah, and whether Kyle's here for 2 weeks or 2 months will be determined by how he does, and also when Carlos Correa comes back, that means Marwin all of a sudden plays more in the outfield, so there may be fewer opportunities. We'll see how it all plays out, but there certainly is not the pressure of, okay, Kyle Tucker's here, now we're riding on part of his shoulders to go to the postseason.
Yeah, I don't think in about 2 days you're going to see Kyle Tucker in the 4th spot. He's going to settle in that 6-7 spot and just be a guy who's going to be on the fringe a little bit and pick up RBIs when he gets going. Another thing to remember too, Alex Bregman, when he broke in, as much fanfare as he got, 0 for his first 18. So it's not that easy making that jump, and it's going to be a little bit of a learning curve. But I think what we're trying to explain is that this is a great lineup to try and break into.
Marwin hit the ball hard on the 2-0 pitch, but lines out for the final out of the inning. A 1-2-3 inning for Shields in the 4th.
And you're all set. Available for those with AT&T Sportsnet and their TV subscription. Blackouts and territorial restrictions do apply.
On we go to the 5th. 4-1 game. Charlie Morton so far allowing 2 hits, a run. He has struck out 8. All the other outs other than the strikeouts have been in the air. This is a guy who used to be called, still is at times called ground chuck, but hasn't put any balls on the ground so far today against the White Sox as Matt Davidson leads things off. Ground ball down the line, just foul. Just when we talked about not having any ground ball outs. Bregman loves that throw from foul territory, so he wanted to practice anyhow.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen that. I was wondering if you were that good to be able to just call a ground ball out just like that. Ooh, man, that was close. Looked like it got a little bit of the bag, huh?
I think that could have gone either way from that angle. And Alex would have made the play all the way across. It was a short hop, but the way Yuli picks 24 out of 26 scoops this year, it would have been an out.
Yeah, and as a third baseman, you're going to backhand the play, and then you kind of hear it in the background, foul ball, pull off that throw a little bit. There's that shift being employed against Matt Davidson. And of the last 100 baseballs put in play by Matt, they have been on that pull side. That's why Yuli is almost lonely over on that right side.
There's a ball backhanded by Bregman. Another chance from foul territory. Yuli has to go get it and comes back to the bag. What a play on both sides.
Well, the first one was just practice. This was a little more of the real deal. And Alex made an adjustment on that throw, elevating it a little bit more to get it there on the fly. So good. Going away from first base and having enough arm strength to throw back across his body all the way across the diamond. And Yuli's showing a little bit of range and footwork too.
That was the reverse stretch. Oh, 1 out, and Omar Narvaez the batter. Well, there we go. Our first ground ball out, called strike.
You are that good.
Just a matter of time with Charlie pitching.
True.
Charlie from 2011 through 2016 had the best ground ball to fly ball ratio in baseball. Narvaez struck out his first time up, but he's been one of the hotter hitters as well for the White Sox. Hit the ball hard against Justin Verlander, one of the few White Sox to do that, including a home run against JV. He's hitting .444 over his last 15 games coming into today. This is outside. It's 2-1. Talk about a team having fun. AJ and his coaching staff share some laughs as well during the course of the game. They're all business, but occasionally you'll see some smiles and laughter down there as well.
And good for Joe Espada too. If you get an opening with AJ Hinch, you got to take it. And it looks like he's getting the best of it.
2-2 pitch, slowly grounded towards Marwin in the shift. The shortstop makes the sidearm throw in time. And a couple of ground ball outs here in the 5th. Astros playing game 3 of an 11-game homestand. We've already seen crowds of 35,000 and 38,000 the first 2 games of this series. Today looks like it'll be pretty close to a sellout. And after Charlie didn't have any ground balls in the first 4 innings, he gets 3 this inning. The last one, though, is booted by Marwin, so that'll allow the inning to continue. That'll be the first error of the game for either side, as Marwin unable to make that play.
I talk sometimes about footwork creating soft hands. You can see the footwork of Marwin Gonzalez. That ball snuck up on him a little bit. His feet got tangled up and the hands got a little firm.
So now Charlie will face Adam Engel. Anderson always a threat to run with 20 stolen bases, second highest total in the American League. Engel flied out to center field his first time up. Takes pitch inside for ball one.
I think Tim Anderson's a guy over there at first base who just looks like he is just thinking about stealing every pitch.
Fouled away. It's 2-1.
That was a good example of a pitcher changing up his timing to home plate. The pitch before, where we saw Tim Anderson get to that 11-foot lead, Charlie Morton held for a little bit longer and Tim Anderson got out there. That time got to that set position, held for a 1 count, then came to home plate and kind of sped things up on Tim Anderson.
And just watching his leads, he seems to ease out there, similar to Altuve, where sometimes he gets those moving leads. This time he'll get way out to start.
Well, then that's what it'll do. It'll all Tim Anderson, knowing that he will be quick to home, will get out there quicker.
There goes the runner. The pitch is inside. The throw is a little bit late. Anderson with his 21st steal of the season.
Not one of the greatest jumps, but still great speed to be able to get in there easily. But with 2 outs and a 3-1. In a 2-1 count, I think Charlie was focused a little more on the hitter, trying to get that strike over.
Counts 3-2 on Engel. Pitch count moving up a little bit the last couple of innings. Charlie needed 38 pitches to get through the first 3. Now making his 75th pitch of the game. Pop up on the infield. Alex Bregman with an easy play to put it away for the final out of the inning. So it stays 4-1. Buy rooms to go. Save big during our Hot Buy sale. Low prices in every department. And by Nissan. Innovation that excites. Halfway home, heading to the bottom half of the 5th inning. Astros leading this game 4-1. George Springer will face James Shields for the 3rd time. George has flied out to right and also hit a sharp single his last time to left field. Back to using the George Springer model bats after trying the Altuve bats a little bit during that slump. George scoring the 62nd run of the season when he came across on the Yuli Gurriel home run. That is good for 5th in the American League with 62 runs scored. George and all his Astros teammates will find out tomorrow night who exactly will be heading to Washington, D.C. We know Jose Altuve will definitely be in there as a starting second baseman. More than likely, he'll end up as the leading vote getter of any position. Swing and a miss, 2-2 the count. Certainly a chance for any of these first 4 in the lineup. Springer, Bregman, Altuve, Yuli trying to make a late push to pass Jose Abreu as the starter at first base in the voting. George was 4th in the most recent voting for the outfield. But the 3 guys ahead of him had a pretty significant lead. Mookie Betts, Aaron Judge, Mike Trout. I think the fans, for the most part this year, hard to argue with who they've been voting for their respective positions.
Now the American League is stacked. The American League outfield is going to be stacked.
There will be a couple of American League shortstops, maybe a starting pitcher or 2 that are going to feel like they really got snubbed this year just based on some great starting numbers this year across the board and some unbelievable shortstop seasons.
There really are, especially with Manny Machado moving into the conversation from 3rd base.
Ball 4. George waited out a walk, and he's a leadoff base runner in the 5th.
Host clients are celebrate a special occasion with a variety of premium seating opportunities at Minute Maid Park, including club and suite level seats for any group size. Visit Astros.com/suites. You call 1-877-9-ASTROS to reserve your luxury suite today.
Here's Alex Bregman. He's singled and scored 1 for 2 today.
I think what's been most fun about all this all-star talk is knowing that A.J. Hinch is going to be managing that team and going into his office and saying, hey, who's your starting pitcher? Or, hey, where's Jose Ramirez going to hit? Yeah. Stuff like that, you know, because then all of a sudden it sparks the conversation of who might be on the all-star team, where your guys are at, and stuff like that, because those are some big-time names he's going to be hanging around in Washington, D.C.
AJ and the rest of the coaching staff, as well as all the all-stars from the Astros, will leave here after the game a week from tomorrow and head into the nation's capital. Astros start the proverbial second half on the road, although this year it's more of a misnomer than any other year with 99 games before the break and only 63 after. So it's not really first half, second half. It's closer to 2/3, 1/3.
Yeah, game 91 right now for the Houston Astros. Not the Midsummer Classic this year.
Last year they were playing the All-Star game after 89 games. And here we are, game 91, and we still have the White Sox for this game and tomorrow, and then 2 more teams coming in on the homestand. Shields up to 65 pitches with a 1-1 count to Alex Bregman. James Shields is a guy that year in and year out pretty much count on for 33 starts. Joking last year that his Players Weekend jersey should have been games started above his number, because every year, if you go through his bio, it's 33 starts, 33 starts, 33 starts. He actually had a couple of 34 start seasons with Kansas City, but he's been a durable arm throughout his career.
And he's been chewing up innings this season too for the Chicago White Sox, which is very beneficial for that bullpen.
I have never seen a pitcher, and certainly Justin Verlander, as we get to know him more, I know he probably values 200 innings, but I think for James Shields, that is a check mark in his career that he is really proud of, the fact that he could go 200 innings for 9 consecutive years. Last couple of years he's been splitting between a couple of teams, didn't quite get to 200. Last year he was actually on the DL for the first time, and Shields not happy with that pitch that misses. It's 3-1.
Alex with very good knowledge of the strike zone, laying off that pitch, even though Shields wanted it. Alex avoiding it, getting himself into that hitter's count. 3-1.
Top foul, counts full. Alex with that base hit his last time up, extending a hitting streak up to a 12-gamer now. Hitting over .410 during that stretch, has that season batting average up to a smooth .280. That's a long way back from where he was most of the first couple of months. Runner on the move on the 2-2 pitch. It's hammered, but Bregman pulled through this down the line and foul.
So close.
That was closer than I thought it would be based on Alex's reaction.
Might have got just a hair quick. But yeah, Alex made this look like it was going to be well foul, but almost snuck it in there. Got around that cut fastball. Knows he just missed it.
Astros already with a home run in this game, extending their streak. Now up to 14 straight games with a home run. Franchise record is 19, set last season. Alex calling time during a long pause in the stretch of Shields.
Shields holding in the 3-2 count, maybe to get George Springer flat-footed so he doesn't get a good break from first base.
Springer off again, swing and a miss. The throw is high. George is safe. Springer picks up his 6th steal of the year. Bregman strikes out for the first out.
We talk about George's athleticism. This is basically a run and hit. He's running, but he's waiting for Alex Bregman to put the ball in play because he doesn't strike out all that much. And as soon as he sees the swing and miss, he puts his head down and dives into second base safely. Or did he?
They're not challenging. That's 7 strikeouts now for Shields.
Am I seeing things? Did you see it the same way on that last replay?
It's the 5th inning. Might be worth it in a 4-1 game. I look at the replays through rose-colored glasses, so let me take them off and look at it again. I don't know. I was watching it, but not as intently as you. So I was just basing it on the fact that the White Sox didn't even motion for a replay.
Why not? Roll the dice. Thought it was close enough to give it a review.
0-2. Shields has not been striking out a whole lot of hitters this season. 76 coming in 113 innings. His 7 strikeouts today are the 2nd highest total of the season. Had an 8 strikeout game against the Rangers, the only other team other than the White Sox Shields can't face his own team, so that would be the highest strikeout total team of anybody Shields could face. But he has picked up 7 Ks today. He's 0-2 on Altuve. And Altuve grounds one in between short and third for a base hit. Altuve has 2 more hits. He's 2 for 3. And the Astros have runners on first and third with 1 out.
George had to hold up so he wouldn't run into an out. But that will count as a hit with the runner in scoring position for Jose Altuve, sitting on that slider, keeping the hands back, pulling it into left field. See George recognize, see it through, and then make his way to third base. Altuve getting off to a hot start here on this homestand.
This will be the 4th consecutive at bat going back to last night for Yuli Gurriel with runners in scoring position. Hit a home run his last time up for a 3-run shot. Yuli up to 45 runs batted in now on the season. Runner on the move, pitch inside, the throw to third instead. And George made sure he wasn't too far off the bag. Stolen base number 13 for Altuve.
Just a matter of time before Jose Altuve takes himself out of the double play situation, puts himself in scoring position. George knows that that's not a double steal. He is going to hold his ground, stay at third base, even though Narvaez was trying to catch him sleeping a little bit at third base.
Now the infield comes in with 1 out and runners on second and third. That was the situation on Thursday night when Yuli ended the game with a walk-off base hit to right. But the infield in that case with the bases loaded. Way outside, it's 2-0. Shields tried to throw that eephus curveball to Yuli the last time. It ended up going into the Crawford boxes with a 3-run home run. Every once in a while he'll throw that curveball in the 69, 70 mile an hour range. Pickoff attempt at third, and George again not straying too far.
Trying to pull out all the tricks. Best move I ever saw like that was Roy Oswalt. He was with the San Diego Padres, and good buddy Mark Sweeney, who's now doing color commentary out in San Diego, was leading off first base. And Roy had a really high leg kick as it was, and he brought it up nice casually, and all of a sudden put it right down. Morgan Ensberg was standing on the bag, threw a bullet over there. Sweeney didn't move a step.
Didn't even go back to the bag.
Locked him up. It was beautiful.
Now it's 3-0 to Yuli. Josh Reddick waits on deck. Yuli grounds 1 foul.
It was such a good move to the point. Roy Oswalt had a unique delivery as it was, but he would bring that leg straight up. And I mean, to the point where everybody in the dugout, we were looking towards home plate. And he got us in the dugout.
He deked everybody.
Yeah, we had to look back at third base and went, oh. He picked everybody off.
Glad you weren't out there, right?
Oh, yeah. Every time something like that happens, hey, tough play, man. But I'm glad it was you, not me.
Yuli with a count of 3-1, and Shields and Narvaez can't get together on the sign, and now everybody's going to come for a visit. It's 3-2. Hewley with 8 runs batted in his last 5 games. 7 for 16 during that stretch. Chance for some RBIs here. Instead, he is walked on the 3-2 pitch, and now the bases are loaded.
It's a good AB by Hewley. And again, it kind of goes back to that first game of the series late in the ball game where we saw Alex Bregman taking the walk. That was a situation where Hewley could have expanded a little bit, trying to drive in the run, but instead was a little more patient, takes the walk, and allows Josh Reddick an opportunity. But the numbers kind of tell you that James might have been pitching around Hewley. Numbers for right-handed hitters better against James Shields.
Now with the bases loaded, the infield will be back everywhere on the right side. And Yomer Sanchez in tight on the left side, so they'll try and turn 2 if Josh hits a ground ball on the right side that's not a bullet. Reddick already has 2 grand slams on the season, including one against the White Sox in Chicago earlier this year.
Got Lucas Giolito, who was walking the world in that game, and he found himself with a fastball down and in. Turned on it. Already talked about the numbers here at Minute Maid Park.
All the Woosted fans are out full force today as it's 2-0 to Josh. Reddick has 3 career home runs against Shields. He's 0 for 2 today. Springer on third, Altuve on second, and Gurriel on first. Ground ball right side. They're going to try and turn 2. They get one at second, and Reddick beats the throw. Run scores. It is 5-1 on the fielder's choice.
It's an excellent job of Josh hustling himself into an RBI. Got around that 2-0 slider. Davidson made a good feed to Tim Anderson, but hustling all the way through allows him to get credit for that RBI. Astro players do not give up on these plays with good reason.
George Springer scores another run. He's now up to 63 on the year. As Reddick drives in his 27th, and now Evan Gattis bats with first and third and 2 outs. Evan doubled and scored the game's first run on Max Stassi's double. He's also struck out. While Shields is worried about Reddick at first, Altuve's coming down the line at third.
No player does more is brought to you by HEB. Evan Gattis, we talk about the prodigious numbers he's been putting up. Had a great month of June. But that number, 49 RBIs, since guess what? Hugs for homers showed up. Tony Kemp, 49 RBIs since that Tony Kemp call-up, and Evan Gattis has been in a very good mood, looking for hugs and driving in runs.
So is there a cause and effect?
I'm hoping. There we go. Gattis through May 15th, 209, 3 home runs, 12 RBIs. And then Tony Kemp showed up, and that sort of that smile and that delight in the swinging of the bat of Evan Gattis. 15 home runs and 49 RBIs. Just needed a little love.
Gattis at the quarter pole this season, 40 games in, had 8 runs batted in.
That's still amazing to look back and see that number.
And now we're playing game 91, so 90 games in with 61 runs batted in. So 53 in the team's last 50 games. That's a good pace. That's like a Hack Wilson pace. It's 2-0.
Yeah, if you start talking RBIs and Hack Wilson, that is a great guy to be compared to. Hack kind of fits Gattis.
Yeah. Yeah.
The name.
Yeah. Grab a bat and hack.
Yep.
He could be in hitter mode here. He's got a good count at 2-0. That ball's ripped into left field. That's an RBI base hit. Altuve will trot in to score. It's now 6-1 Astros on Evan Gattis' 62nd RBI of the year.
50 RBIs now since Tony Kemp has been and that's a good one.
That's today.
That fits.
That was a little signing event earlier today, and Tony Kemp found a fan that looked similar to Evan Gattis.
You gotta love Tony Kemp. I mean, there is nothing shy about that young man.
Well, Kyle Tucker bats with runners on. He batted in the second inning with a runner on second and 1 out, led off the fourth, and now he bats for the 3rd time in his major league career. Struck out his first 2 times up against Shields. Seen a heavy diet of breaking stuff from James, although he gets a fastball there on the outside corner for a strike. Kyle Tucker coming off a month in June at Fresno, where he batted .387 with 6 home runs and a 1,078 OPS. Called up today. There's that cutter that's been giving him problems.
No.
And he's gonna get on first on a catcher's interference. Or no, a balk.
Yeah, I think it's a balk.
All right, a balk is called. Shields was called for a balk by the home plate umpire, Angel Hernandez.
That's a tough call. James Shields is pleading his case right here. Renteria is not going to come out and help him out. But James Shields, watch the way he comes set towards second base. Did you catch who called that?
I originally thought it was Angel, but now I might change my mind. It might have been Todd Tichenor at second.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out too, because my initial thought was Angel Hernandez also.
But it sounded like Tichenor may have called that from not stopping and doing that little fake inside move to second, as you said. This time a pause and the pitch, swing and a miss. Tucker down to the count 0-2. With the balk, the previous strike was wiped out. Well, it's been a heavy diet of cutters or inside set up on Tucker again, and this breaking ball was the slow curveball that stays outside. It's 1-2.
Yeah, your major league debut, you've got to go out there and face a crafty, salty veteran like James Shields, who's cutting, sinking, pulling back on speed, adding velocity.
Swing and a miss. Gets him down and in. Tucker has struck out all 3 times today. The Astros leave 2, but they have added to the lead at 6-1.
over the White Sox, and Kyle Tucker making his debut today is very exciting for all Astros fans, but maybe more for the family of Kyle. I'm with his dad, Mike. His wife, Lisa, is behind us. Hannah, Kyle's sister, sitting behind us as well. You guys made it. Congratulations. You made it to Houston. You're here. But take me through the phone call and receiving the word that he made it to the show.
Well, it was really weird because last night, Lisa and I were back at a hotel up in Seneca, South Carolina last night, visiting her sister and family. And Lisa goes, you know what? I think Kyle's going to get the call up. And I go, no, he's not. 15 minutes later, we get a text from Kyle that said, pack your bags.
No.
Yeah.
You called it.
So
then what happened?
Then he called about 5 minutes later and said, hey, I'm cleaning out my locker. Got to go into the apartment house. I've got to catch a flight up in Sacramento. I'll call you later when I'm kind of get settled in. So.
But how did you get here? You were in South Carolina.
We were in South Carolina. We had to scramble. We had all these plans. We were going to go visit Preston for a couple days, and then we were going to go up to Columbus, Ohio to go watch the All-Star game. So we had all these plans. Needless to say, we had to cancel everything and then rebook everything. And, of course, the flight today was an hour and a half late. So we missed the first inning and a half and missed his first at bat. We were out at will call when he was up to bat. But so anyhow, it was a long night.
I'm sure, but you've done this before. We even had you on the broadcast when Preston made his debut a few years ago. Are memories of that flashing back? Does this feel like a completely different experience with a different kid?
It's a different experience because you're here at a home crowd versus Preston. He was out at LA. We got in there, not a mad rush, because it was a night game versus an afternoon game. So it was a lot more different. We were a little bit more relaxed and had time to actually talk with him one-on-one prior to him coming out the field. And versus here, we just how quickly can we get here?
Absolutely. I'd want to know what it's like for you guys to keep up with both of them and their busy schedules. And Hannah, I'm sure, is busy too. How are you keeping up with what everyone's doing every night?
Well, Hannah, she lives in town, so it makes it very easy to keep up with her. But with the boys being on a different coast, it is a little bit more difficult. Kyle being at the West Coast, his games don't start till about 10 o'clock our time. So it's very difficult to watch anything with him. I always tell him, you got to do everything in your first at bat because I'm going to bed after that. But I'll end up getting up and watching them later. And with Preston, it's obviously a lot easier being everything on the East Coast. And we've been to several of the Braves games already to catch and see him. So it's been really nice.
Just the feeling that everyone's having right now. What are you feeling?
Well, besides being exhausted, it's just very happy for him. It seems weird. It's really only been 3.5 years since Preston was called up in May of 15. And Kyle's really almost 7 years older. So, it's quite an accomplishment for him. We're just very proud of him coming here.
I was going to say, it wasn't that long ago. We saw the entire family here taking a picture as Kyle had just been drafted. Preston was playing in that game. Do you remember that day well?
Oh, yeah, very well.
Just yesterday.
Yeah. The years go by very quickly.
We are so glad to see you guys again. It's been a while, and we'll see you around. Yes, thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much, Julia.
All right, guys.
All right, Julia, that's pretty cool because I always like the parents' interviews when a guy makes his debut, and now Julia's had a chance to see that side for both Preston and now Kyle.
Both in an Astros uniform, which makes it even more interesting. But yeah, I mean, it's a debut for Preston, it's a debut for Kyle, and it's probably just as nerve-wracking. But first home run for Preston Tucker was going oppo against a guy who's in the ballpark right now. Joaquin Soria. Not easy to go oppo in Detroit either, but Preston's showing good power to all fields early on in his big league career.
That was a blown save by Soria that game. It was a game-tying home run in the 9th inning at Comerica Park. And we saw Soria blow a save here on Thursday night when the Astros walked it off. Charlie Morton, working with a 5-run lead, has allowed a single and a walk in this inning, and now facing Jose Abreu. He's been able to strike out Abreu twice so far today. Charlie has 8 strikeouts overall. Last one finished off the 4th inning. Breaking ball on a wave and a miss from Abreu. It's 0-2. So Kyle's parents and sister not able to get here for his first big league at bat, but hopefully he still has the first big league hit in his arsenal today, as he'll get another plate appearance at some point, as the Astros have already had their first 7 hitters bat 3 times. Here's a ball chopped towards Bregman, and he tries to make the play at second, just barely ahead of the sliding Yolmer Sanchez, who is forced out for out number 1. Moncada moves to third.
Good job getting that lead out. Very close over there, but always good to get that lead out, especially with Charlie on the mound, because a ground ball does get him out of this situation.
Charlie approaching 90 pitches in the game, and Will Harris beginning to warm up for the Astros. Here's Avisail Garcia. He hit a sacrifice fly his last time up. That's the only run of the game so far for the White Sox in a 6-1 contest. Garcia's flied out to left a couple of times. Tucker's made 2 plays today in left field, both times with Garcia batting. Chop towards Morton, the run coming home, and he is out at home plate. Yoan Moncada right back to Charlie Morton, and that's out number 2.
Contact play was on first and third, and Moncada trying to force the issue at home plate, but Charlie Morton protecting that ERA with a good flip. Probably not going to turn the double play as hard as that was hit, but take that out if it's at home plate right in front of you, an easy play.
So now 2 outs and runners on first and second, and Morton will face Daniel Palka. Palka's had trouble with the curveball today, a couple of strikeouts. Charlie starts him off with a fastball that misses 1-0.
Sounds like a good name for a movie. Trouble with the curve.
Starring Charlie Morton and Lance McCullers.
Along with the other 7 Snapdragon guys they have in their rotation and in the bullpen.
There's a strike called. It's 1-1. Well, that's been the pitch, the curveball, that's allowed him to have such great numbers the last couple of years against left-hand hitters. Prior to his time with the Astros, he really struggled with lefties. Charlie had allowed a batting average of .307 in his career before he was an Astro, and last year 179 combined with this year, a 179 average in the last 2 seasons. But he's 3-1 here on Palka. Charlie has not been quite as sharp this inning with his first walk, and now down in the count here to a guy he struck out twice.
Creeping closer to that 100 pitch mark. Looks like Will Harris getting loose in that bullpen. This should be a pretty healthy hack from Palka. Wow.
Down and in. Ball 4. Now the bases are loaded. Second walk issued by Charlie both this inning. AJ likes Will Harris on lefties. There's a lefty due up next in Omar Narvaez. So this could be Charlie's last batter. Every Tuesday night home game is Dollar Dog Night, presented by Nolan Ryan Beef. Enjoy all the dollar dogs you can eat this Tuesday the 10th as the Astros take on the A's. For tickets, visit astros.com/dollardogs or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Bases loaded, 2 outs, and a called strike on the breaking ball to Davidson, who has struck out and grounded out on a nice play by Alex Bregman. Could be the last batter for Charlie Morton with a 6-1 lead. Ground ball right side against the shift. That'll go through for a hit. 1 run scores. Garcia being held at third. The throw comes in. It's now 6-2. The bases remain loaded on the RBI single by Davidson.
Shift on, spot missed. Just allows Davidson to just kind of bound that one through the hole on the right side. But luckily, Josh Reddick being aggressive to that baseball holds Garcia at third.
AJ sticking with Charlie here. Narvaez represents the tying run at home plate. He is struck out and grounded out. And a foul ball in the 97-mile-an-hour fastball. One of the healthier fastballs we've seen from Charlie today.
Seems as if AJ wants Charlie Morton to get through this 6th inning. And if he can do it, only allowing these 2 runs, it'd be another quality start for a Houston Astros starter. Again, those quality starts are 6 innings pitched, 3 earned runs or less.
Two and one. Just a little bit off this inning. Charlie still needs to make a quality pitch or 2. Runners on every base. Garcia on third, Palka on second, and Davidson on first. There's a strike. 2-2.
That is a tough pitch to hit. Perfectly located down and away.
Nice frame job by Max Stassi. And now a nice block by Stassi on a pitch that almost hit Narvaez, and the count's full.
Yeah, I don't know what was more impressive, the fact that Stassi knocked that down or Narvaez got out of the way. Wow. Not sure how Stassi didn't keep that from kicking away. That was pretty impressive.
Charlie sitting at 100 pitches. Fly ball left field, pretty well hit. Tucker all the way back. He looks up, but this is bounding off the wall. 3 runs are going to score on the bases clearing double by Narvaez, and we have a 1-run game at 6-5. Narvaez has been hot lately. He had some good ABs against Justin Verlander, and he just cleared the bases here against Charlie Morton.
Huge hit for the White Sox. Fastball middle at 97, and Narvaez not trying to do too much with it, just barrels it up and shoots it the other way, and it's in that little bit of a crevice right next to the Crawford boxes. Tough read for young Kyle Tucker. The only thing George could do was wait for it to stop rolling around and get it back in. By then, 3 runs had scored.
Tough inning for Charlie to finish with at 6-5. We'll tell you more after this. White Sox now at second base. Omar Narvaez driving in 3 with a double, and now Will Harris takes over.
Will did a good job the other day out in Texas, went in an inning, gave up a couple of hits, had a strikeout. That was about it. Did it in 18 pitches, 36 games this season. A 4.02 ERA.
Facing Tim Anderson here with 2 outs and a runner on second, and Anderson fouls one the other way. At the end of this game, the final line on Charlie Morton will not tell the whole story. He was really in command today through the first 5 innings. Hit a rough spot here in the 6th, allowing 4 runs, all of them scoring after 2 were out and they had runners on first and second. A couple of walks in the inning did not help Charlie. Will ahead of the count 0-2. Anderson has struck out and reached on an error his last time up. Stole his 21st base of the year. Oh, 2 pitch bounces away. It's going to head all the way towards Bregman at third. That ball really skipped off Stassi. That'll be a wild pitch charged to Will Harris, and now a runner on third. Gets away, but this one not far. It's 2-2. White Sox back in this game, trailing 6-1 to start the 6th. They have scored 4. Swing and a miss. Harris striking out Anderson to end the inning. A 4-run score. The Astros have a 6-5 lead. Getting the scoring going as Max Stassi doubled. That'll score Evan Gattis for the first run of the game, and then the Astros would post 3 more in the 3rd.
Big swing from La Pena going into the Crawford boxes on a 68-mile-an-hour breaking ball. Then in that 5th inning, George Springer with a walk. Jose Altuve coming in on that Gaddis swing. A couple more runs for the Houston Astros in that 5th inning.
Ground ball, Yomer Sanchez at third, cuts across and makes the play. Nicely done by the White Sox third baseman. Stassi retired on 1 pitch. Astros have scored in the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 5th. Yuli with 3 RBIs, Stassi, Reddick, and Gaddis with 1 apiece. Here's Marwin. He lined out to center his last time up. He's also flied out to center. White Sox as a team are allowing almost 6 runs per game on the season on the road. Astros scoring 11 last night, most of those runs late. White Sox bullpen has allowed a run in 10 consecutive games. They have their first bullpen action going of the day with Bruce Rondon warming up. James Shields is a guy that usually gives the White Sox 6 or 7 innings. Marwin down the line, fair ball towards the corner. That might go all the way into the corner. Marwin will trot into second base with a double.
Shields has been doing a good job this year against left-handed hitters, but that cut fastball trying to get in on the hands of Marwin, it does a little bit, but Marwin does a good job of muscling that one down the right field line. Good job of staying through that swing. Sometimes you get to contact and shut it down, but he got to contact, even though he got jammed, finished it nicely to get himself into scoring position.
Here's George Springer. He's been on base the last couple of times, a single and a walk, and scored a couple of runs off the end of the bat foul. Colin McHugh warming up for the Astros. Last pitch in that Texas series went 3 outstanding innings. And come from behind win for Houston to wrap up that mini sweep. Swing and a miss. It's 0-2. Shields has already matched his season high with 8 strikeouts. The 36-year-old has worked at least 6 innings in 13 of his last 14 starts. But approaching 100 pitches today in the 6th. Slow curveball. There's that Ephus curve, if you will, as he gets Springer swinging. That's the home run pitch for Gurriel earlier.
Catch a great ballpark bargain with the Coca-Cola Ballpark Bundle. The bundle includes a ticket, hot dogs, soda, and popcorn for only $20 during select weekday games. Visit Astros.com/ballparkbundle for tickets and info.
Alex Bregman will bat for the 4th time, 1 for 3 today. Cutter away. It's 1-0. They label it a cutter, but it's almost a slider the way he delivers that pitch. Two 2-0 the count.
good spot for a homer.
Really?
You're welcome.
Alex Bregman hits his 17th of the year, and the Astros get 2 more on the board. It's now an 8-5 game. Plummer called that shot.
Be realistic, though, is it really going out on a limb with a guy like Alex Bregman at the plate, the way he's been swinging the bat the entire month of June, continuing here in July?
You did call it on the pitch.
I know.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Pretty good. And a hug.
A. Bragg continues to get it done in the power department. That is now in a 12-game hitting streak, his 6th home run. That's the last batter James Shields will face. Back with more after this.
Yeah, that second fastball up in the zone, and I kind of felt like James Shields was going to challenge Alex Bregman, and this late in that pitch count. But it also goes back to something we've been talking about Alex Bregman and his mentality. And we talk about some of the walk-off home runs. That right there for me was a moment. And I think Alex Bregman understood that that was a moment and an opportunity. And that's why I went way out on that limb to call a home run for a guy like that. He knows it.
His reactions today have been priceless.
Yeah, been good.
Well, that is a big moment. It was a 6-1 game. All of a sudden, it's a ball game at 6-5, and momentum had shifted. And then he gained some momentum right back.
No, that was the biggest thing, is that little bit of a momentum shift with the White Sox getting back in this. But Alex Bregman reminding the Chicago White Sox who the reigning world champions are.
First batter that Bruce Rondon will face is Jose Altuve. Rondon takes over in the 6th. Rondon throws hard, 96.4 miles an hour on average with the fastball. Throw fastball slider exclusively to righties. There is that easy gas at 97. Altuve swings through it. It's 1-1. Shields gives up 8 runs for the second time this year. First time the 8 runs have been earned against his ledger. Gave up 7 earned runs in a start against the Astros back on April 20th. So the Astros have gotten Shields for 15 earned runs this year in 11 innings of work. Slider, it's 2-2. Rondon pitched a third of an inning in the game on Thursday, striking out Tyler White, the lone batter he faced. So
a little bit of a quick pitch?
I don't know. You ever seen a 2-strike take like that?
I think Altuve was ready. 3-2. And Altuve saying, wait, wait, wait. All right, now I'm ready. Inside, ball 4. Altuve on base for the 3rd time today, and the 7th time in the last 2 games. 10th time in this series. He has been a on-base machine.
Great homestand last time, and getting off to a great start in this homestand, longest one of the season.
Maybe the tables are turning. Altuve, the road warrior, maybe starting to figure it out here at Minute Maid Park. Here's Yuli Gurriel, 3-run home run, a walk, and a strikeout. Altuve has stolen a base in this game. He has 13 on the year. Up and in, 2-0. Yuli's only drawn 13 walks on the year. So he'll be aggressive in a hitter's count. He took a hack at a 3-0 and 3-1 pitch against James Shields his last time up before walking on the full count pitch.
Swing. Yuli letting it rip in that 2-0 count. I like it.
Yuli hit one into the far center field side corner of the Crawford boxes for his 3-run home run, about 6 rows deep. There goes Altuve, and the ball sent into center field. Engel comes on and makes the play for the final out of the inning. But the Astros score 2 more in the 6th on the home run by Alex Bregman.
Upgrades are available that include a Charlie Morton Ruler of the Realm bobblehead. Fans can also take a photo on the Iron Throne of 7 Kings. Visit Astros.com/GOT for tickets and info. A couple of updates on guys. Carlos Correa, we'll start with him, who's been coming to the ballpark every day to get his treatment, to do some activities that are inside. All the running is happening inside, so he hasn't been doing baseball activities just yet, not fielding ground balls or anything like that yet. So the longer that it takes him to do those things, the more he'll need a rehab assignment. We knew he wasn't going to come back this series, but we'll have an update probably for the Oakland series on his status. Brian McCann, too. It's good to see his face around after having that surgery on his right knee. They went in there, repaired the torn meniscus for him. He said it was just something that needed to get done. He was at the point where he didn't have stability on that knee, and it would just give out on him and on swings. So needed to get it done. He is a 100% that he'll be back before the end of the regular season, guys.
All right, Julia, we head to the 7th inning. Thanks for those updates. Adam Engel will lead things off, and he'll face Colin McHugh coming in out of the bullpen for the Astros. And what a season it has been for Colin. Ahead 1-2. His numbers are pretty filthy.
No, they're extremely dirty. 52 strikeouts in those 40 innings.
And another one. Chalk up another one for Colin McHugh. Snapdragon 2 was his nickname on Players Weekend, but that was just a firm fastball for a called strike. Well, we've seen a lot of, first of all, the call of the Bregman home run is receiving a lot of attention on Twitter, and rightfully so. That was a great call. But we've also seen, previous to today, a lot of attention on Twitter for the push to get Colin McHugh on the All-Star team.
Rightfully so. We compared him to Dylan Betances, Andrew Miller, and then a couple of the Astros who literally pitched their way onto those All-Star teams. A guy like Will Harris, Chris Davinsky, kind of working their way up through that food chain in that bullpen, doing some grunt work in the middle parts of games, going multiple innings, saving that bullpen, and eventually finding themselves in some high leverage situations closer to that All-Star break and later in the season. But Colin McHugh's definitely earned the right to move into some higher leverage situations and be considered for that All-Star team.
It's almost as if he has become the Brad Peacock of 2017 this year.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He can go multiple innings, but now all of a sudden he's becoming a valuable piece where AJ's like, all right, last year Brad Peacock was my bridge guy. Instead of using him for 2 or 3 innings, all of a sudden Peacock found himself in some higher leverage situations last year.
Absolutely.
1-2 the count to Yohan Moncada. This is popped up in the air. Who wants it? Marwin Gonzalez behind second. Puts it away for out number 2.
There's some of the names and numbers that we talked about, All-Stars last season through that first half in 2017. And all these guys, Andrew Miller's the one guy that's kind of pitched all over, finding some of those leverage situations from the 6th inning on. But a setup man in Dylan Betances, but those strikeout numbers are the ones that actually Colin McHugh matches up pretty well with these guys that have made previous All-Star appearances.
And just so people are aware when they watch tomorrow's unveiling of the rosters how the pitching staffs are set, as opposed to the regular position players where the fans get to vote, it's based on players' vote for the first 8 spots on that pitching staff. So the players vote for the first 5 starters and the top 3 relievers. And then at that point, AJ's hands could be further tied because then MLB has to place a player from all the other teams that don't have a player already either voted on by the fans or voted on as a reserve by the players. So then those spots have to be filled. And a lot of times those are pitchers. And then all of a sudden you see what's left. And whether there's enough room for Colin McHugh, we'll find out tomorrow night. 2-1 pitch is a called strike. It's 2-2. How do you like that view?
I like it a lot, and I'm going to like it even more on Tuesday.
That is where we're going to be broadcasting from Tuesday. A lot going on Tuesday. We'll tell you all about it next inning because Colin McHugh makes quick work of the White Sox. McHugh, a 1-2-3 inning with 2 strikeouts. Blues, Honest Abe, in parentheses. He's number 1. Lead off, walk off. If you know the answer, you can send it to @ATT Sports and NSW, or just your guesses as well. Name That Astro brought to you by Nissan. Fans having a good time on this Saturday afternoon. Why not? They're seeing a lot of offense today. The Astros have scored in 4 of the 6 innings as Josh Reddick leads things off. Facing Bruce Rondon. Rondon, in his first full inning of work, came on to face 2 batters to get through the 6th inning. Reddick grounded into a fielder's choices last time up. Ended up driving in a run with that fielder's choice. He's 0 for 3 today. Saw a lot of requests for lottery numbers on Twitter for Chuck Plum. 1-1 the count.
What was that Johnny Carson character that holds?
Karnak.
Yeah, there you go.
Karnak the Magnificent. 1-1 pitch is foul out of play. It's 1-2. If you're just joining us, Blummer on a 2-0 pitch to Alex Bregman said, "Not time for a home run. This would be a good time for a home run."
Yep.
Alex Bregman hit one into the Crawford boxes on the next pitch.
And again, Alex Bregman has been tearing the cover off the baseball. But also just, I felt the moment, and you pointed it out, the momentum had shifted towards the White Sox with that 4-run inning against Charlie Morton. I really felt that Alex Bregman understood the moment also and was going to take advantage of it and launch it out of there.
Start every AB. That would be overkill.
Yeah, I got to pick my spots.
Then all of a sudden he's not Blumstradamus.
That was a good one.
That was one of the first ones that came through on Twitter. 2-2 pitch is grounded foul. Well, Bregman came through with another home run. For Alex, that's up to 17. He's 1 behind Evan Gattis for the team lead. Yes, the GOAT.
There it is.
You are the GOAT. You and Tom Brady.
No, it's good. It's a lot of fun to watch this ball club, but it's also a lot of fun knowing that they have the ability to take control of those moments and do big things on big stages. Most notably last season, all the way through the playoffs.
Makes A.J. Hinch's life a lot more comfortable as he watches on with his 2-2 pitch that's sent into left field, slicing away from everybody, including Sanchez, but he tries to make a backhand catch and can't, as it bounces on the warning track area in foul territory and into the crowd.
Gave it a pretty good effort.
There's a lefty warming up in the White Sox bullpen, Jace Fry. Kyle Tucker is due up 3rd in this inning.
Fry is the only pitcher we haven't seen in this series.
2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Rondon threw a little changeup at 91 miles an hour to get Reddick for the first out.
Blue steel. That's a good call.
Love to see Alex Bregman in an all-star game.
That would be highly entertaining.
That would be well worth the time to see what Bregman might do over the course of 3 days. Here's Evan Gattis. You know, with all this all-star talk, it's a shame that, you know, we haven't had much love for Evan because all his production has really come since the players already voted and the fans have already voted.
Yeah, that's an excellent point.
Players voted a few weeks ago when Evan was still kind of just entering this incredible stretch of games where it seems like he has an RBI in every game. He has 44 runs batted in 36 games coming into today, so now 45 and 37. But a lot of those votes were in about 3 weeks ago. So we'll see. Certainly Evan has provided the numbers now to warrant an all-star selection. He sends one into center field. Engel comes over to his right to make the play for out number 2. Top 10 prospects for the Houston Astros. 6 of the 10 were international signees, and the Astros just recently signing a number of young individuals who will make their way through the Astros minor league system. But Yordan Alvarez, who was acquired in a trade at number 3, is now going to play in the Futures game tomorrow, excuse me, a week from tomorrow.
Yeah, the Astros do a good job in that draft, and they put a lot of emphasis on it, but they've also got people all over the world basically trying to scout out some new talent.
Kyle Tucker represented the Astros at last year's All-Star Futures game. Went 1 for 3 with an RBI. In his debut, though, still looking for his first hit. He has struck out 3 times. Shields was tough on him. James used a lot of cutters to get in on the hands of Tucker. It's 2-0.
And ranking some of the farm systems, and it's interesting to see the White Sox out here. They are in that blow-up rebuild mode. They are 7th currently according to minorleagueball.com, and the Astros still in the top 10 as reigning world champions. Great farm system.
3-0. Well, 8-5 game, major league debut. You got to think Tucker, if he has a pitch to hit here to his liking, will have the green light.
Well, James Shields went to a lot of the off speed. To your point, there's a couple pitches right here. He should be able to get a fastball. How about the faith in the young man from A.J. Hinch, saying in a 3-0 count in the big leagues, go get him.
Tucker saw a 95-mile-an-hour fastball and fouled it away. Still a hitter's count here at 3-1. Tapped, just foul, and now the count's full. Rondon, that's his changeup, believe it or not, at 91.
Yeah, Rondon throws hard.
Only about a 5-mile-per-hour separation between the changeup and the fastball. Ground ball, just foul. This crowd is ready to erupt for anything Tucker does in his first big league game.
I love it. They are tuned in. This day and age, if you're a top prospect, there's so much information out there. You know exactly who these guys are. And the Astro fans in this new generation, with Jeff Luna as the GM and the way they draft and the way they have these prospects, they know the situation. They want to be here to witness the first hit.
Summer standing in this 3-2 count. Line drive off the glove. That should be a base hit for Kyle Tucker, and a standing ovation from the Minute Maid Park crowd. And Jose Altuve comes out of the dugout to collect the baseball.
These fans jumped out of their seats for Kyle Tucker. Welcome to the club, Kyle.
The first of many for Tucker. Gotta love the guy that has over 200 hits a year, who couldn't be happier, who literally came out of the dugout to collect that baseball himself.
And that's a great indication of what you asked earlier. What does it mean to get your first, playing your first big league game, and what does it mean to get your first hit? Jose Altuve, 200 hits a year, still remembers how great it is to get that first hit in the big leagues. Get used to this. Gets the barrel to it, yanks it off the glove of Matt Davidson into right field. That's a moment he'll never forget. There's the family enjoying the moment with him.
They didn't get to see the first AB, but they did get to see the most important AB as he gets his first major league hit, age 21 years old. What a moment for Kyle Tucker. Here's Max Stassi. Tucker on the move, and a foul ball. Tucker stole 14 bases for AAA Fresno. And he was on the move on that 0-1 pitch. Tucker just double checking at third, making sure he has the right size. I was supposed to run, right?
Yep.
A lot going on in that first day. He gets a pretty good lead out there. He starts and stops and now heads back to first. Didn't have a very good jump.
I love the youth, and I love the energy, and I love when you see these guys get their opportunity in the big leagues. Things get a little goofy at times. As soon as he kind of shuffled off there, almost looking like he was going to run, Alex Cintron was going towards first base, staring into the dugout, going, I got it. Don't worry, AJ, I'll talk to him.
There he goes. The pitch is grounded towards short, past the shortstop Anderson. Tucker goes first to third on the base hit by Staffi. And the Astros have runners on the corners with 2 outs. Marwin Gonzalez due up. Rick Renteria out of the dugout, looking towards his bullpen with the lefty warming up. They turn Marwin around to bat right-handed, and he will. We'll be back after this.
At ATT Sportsnet SW. Oh, it's got the crowd all into this one. Which Astros player debut from recent seasons is your favorite? Carlos Correa is the winner today with 48% of the vote. Bregman with 27, Springer 19. AJ Hinch still wants credit for Carlos Correa's first hit. The infield single that was actually overturned that day. Didn't take long to see his first home run either, so there's what they did.
1 for 4, Kyle Tucker. 1 for 4, Carlos Correa, both facing the Chicago White Sox. George Springer had a hit and saw Lance's line as well. Jace Fry, the new pitcher, turns Marwin around and gets a called strike.
Jace last pitched on the 18th, went a couple of innings through 19 pitches. 27 appearances on the season. That whip is nice, under 1. Fastball at 92. Has a changeup, curveball, cut fastball, and a slider.
24-year-old lefty. He'll turn 25 in a couple of days. Facing Marwin Gonzalez, who was 1 for 3 with a double and a run scored his last time up. Astros have runners on first and third, 2 outs, leading 8-5. Trying to tack on more here in the 7th. And Giles has been warming up in the Astros bullpen. Two and two the count. Fry has been really tough on left-hand hitters this year, but facing Marwin as a switch hitter turned him around. White Sox bullpen trying to snap a streak of allowing a run in 10 consecutive games. All 8 runs today against James Shields. And the streak continues. Marwin an RBI base hit to left. That makes it a 9-5 game. Marwin drives in a run. Kyle Tucker scores his first major league run.
Should be plenty of high fives in that dugout for newly added Kyle Tucker.
Marwin an RBI right-handed. His 11th RBI as a righty, his 35th overall in the season. Here's George Springer. Springer a couple of runs scored, 1 for 3 with a walk. Called strike. Catches Omar Narvaez, who's in a little bit of pain. Springer down the count 0-2. After Altuve picked up that first big league hit from Kyle Tucker, he threw it towards the side well near the dugout where they authenticated. And then Tucker will eventually get the baseball. But sometimes there are little pranks played on rookies for their first hit. And it's not always the baseball you first see that is the actual baseball.
Yeah. I've experienced that.
They gave you a fake one?
Yeah. They usually save it. I mean, now they, like you said, they authenticate it, but they'll say, you know, the pitcher got it off the count, direction, whatever. They played the prank they played on me. They gave me a baseball that they literally covered half the ball in red, half the ball in blue. And then I got my first hit off Matt Clement, and they said that his name was like Steve Clementine or something. And tried to play it off that way, and I was just like, thanks guys, you're the best. And I just kind of tried to play like, oh my gosh, what just happened? And then they had it all dressed up the next day for me in my locker.
Well, we'll see what happens with Tucker today, but he picks up his first in this inning.
Yep. Swing he'll never forget, raking that first major league base hit to right field. And the Tucker era begins.
The clues today, Honest Abe, he's number 1. And leadoff slash walk-off, Darren Erstad. Attended University of Nebraska. First overall pick by the Angels in '95 and hit both a leadoff and a walk-off home run in the same game.
Also drove in 100, scored 100 out of the leadoff spot. He was a dynamic player.
Punter for University of Nebraska.
Yeah, he's played in a national championship for football and a World Series.
How about that? Great teammate from everybody that's ever played with him.
Phenomenal teammate. One of the angriest shoe tires I've ever been around. Just wrenching those things down for a day on the bench.
We head to the 8th inning. Jose Abreu leads off. Takes a couple of pitches outside of the zone. Ken Giles comes on in the 8th.
Facing a tough part of this order. He's got that ERA under 4 at 3.94, and that whip is lowering also. 30 strikeouts to 3 walks.
Colin McHugh, another strong inning in the 7th. Went 1-2-3, including a couple of strikeouts. Giles misses way up on that fastball, and he's down in the count 3-0 to start the 8th. Will Harris, a strikeout of the only batter he faced. McHugh struck out 2 of the 3 he faced in the 7th. Now Giles takes over in the 8th. There's a fastball for a strike. Astros had a 6-1 lead. White Sox came back with 4 in the 6th to make it a 1-run game. Astros put up 2 more in the 6th, 1 more in the 7th. Now lead it by 4, and a 3-2 count to Abreu. Up the middle, diving stop, Altuve. He gets up and makes the play. Outstanding defensive work by the Astros second baseman.
Been a tough series for Abreu. Finally makes a bid for what could have been a hit, but Altuve's got different ideas. He's a silver slugger and a gold glover. Good job of smothering that short hop.
Here's Amasio Garcia. Garcia's sac fly, also a fielder's choice, and this ball drilled deep to left field, and that is gone. Over the Crawford boxes for Garcia's 9th home run of the season, and he has hit a home run in back-to-back games. He has 6 home runs in his last 10 games. He has been red hot with the power surge lately.
Yeah, if Garcia can stay healthy, he could be a dynamic hitter in this league. Plenty of skills. When he was with Detroit, they called him Mini Miggy. Hanging around Miguel Cabrera. I would imagine his name might surface somewhere towards that trade deadline too.
And dealing with a little hamstring injury this year that has limited him as Palka sends one way up in the air to right field. Josh Reddick comes in and makes the play for out number 2. Are you the ultimate Southwest fan? Louisiana, July is your month to show your spirit. Use hashtag UltimateSWFanLA on Twitter to show us, and you could win a jersey and a VIP experience. So tweet now and win big. 2 outs, bases clear. Giles will face Matt Davidson. In the course of a game with a lot of runs scored, sometimes it's a defensive play that can get overlooked. If Altuve doesn't make that play, now it's a 9-7 game. And there's only 1 out in the inning. Instead, it's 9-6, and Giles can get Davidson here. Astros head to the bottom of the 8th with a 3-run cushion. Giles ahead 0-2. Only the second home run allowed by Giles this season. Swing and a miss, got him with the slider. We're going to head to the bottom half of the 8th inning with the Astros leading 9-6. Out of market regular season game live or on demand on your favorite supported devices with At-Bat Premium included with your subscription. Blackouts and other restrictions do apply. Visit MLB.tv to take advantage of this special offer. Minute Maid Park, the site of 11 straight games in this homestand. No off days in the mix. The Astros will ride it all the way out to the All-Star break. Tonight is Game 3. As Alex Bregman will lead things off. Bregman providing a little separation in this game with a 2-run home run his last time up, turning a 1-run game into an 8-5 lead. Bregman facing Jace Fry, who drops in a breaking ball for a called strike. Alex's numbers continue to skyrocket, up to 17 home runs and 57 RBIs. If it wasn't for Evan Gaddis's incredible surge lately, this would be your leader in home runs and RBIs on the team. There's a ball driven to left field, looking up and off the wall. Comes back to Polka. Bregman going to second, and he slides in safely. Alex Bregman, another extra base hit and a 3-hit game today.
He's just a barrel machine. 29 doubles now in the season. See the glove drop of the catcher. Just knows that he's going to rip that pitch. A little bit of a cut fastball spinning out over the middle of the plate. Mistakes can usually get ripped by Alex Bregman.
During this 12-game hitting streak, Alex now has 7 doubles and 6 home runs and 14 runs batted in. Altuve grounds one to short. Anderson makes the play to first. Bregman, a good read, gets over to third base with 1 out. That's a decision you have to make as a base runner as soon as that ball is put in play.
He was anticipating going to third, but realizing that Anderson was sitting back on a slow hit ground ball too.
Now that'll bring the infield in with 1 out and a runner on third base as Yuli Gurriel bats. Yuli chops 1 foul. He has batted with runners in scoring position 4 times today. Has a 3-run home run, a walk, also has struck out and flied out. There's a ball sharply hit through the drawn-in infield. Astros into double digits for the second straight game. Yuli with his 4th RBI of the game and is now 10-6. Does it on the year, reaching at least 10 runs.
He's already very good with runners in scoring position, and now the Astros with 12 games, double digits. But then you bring the infield in, it makes them that much better.
Depending on where Anderson is playing in the shift against Yuli, that could be a relatively easy ground ball out if the infield's back. Instead, it's an RBI. Yuli up to 46 on the year now. The Astros have now played the White Sox this year 6 times and have scored 10 or more in 4 of those 6 games.
Yeah, the run differential alone in this series. Wow.
27-2 in Chicago. There's a base hit towards left field. Reddick with his first hit of the game. And the Astros have 2 on with 1 out.
This week on Astros Bases Loaded, AJ and Julia hit a high note in Tampa. Alex Bregman heats up July. And Tony Kemp is wired for sound. All that and more on Astros Bases Loaded Friday at 6 p.m. only on AT&T Sportsnet.
Rick Renteria back out there to the mound as Chase Fry will be lifted from this game. 10-6, bottom half of the 8th inning. We will have more from Minute Maid Park after this. And 10 runs scored, bidding for even more with 1 out in the 8th inning and a couple of runs on board. Rick Renteria goes back to his bullpen for Juan Minaya.
Pitching in his 5th game in the last 8 games. Throwing a lot of pitches out of that bullpen. Will be his 19th appearance. 17 innings pitched, 23 strikeouts, and again, we didn't see it the other night. He pitched pretty well here against the Houston Astros, stayed in that strike zone, but walks can be an issue for Juan Minaya.
Minaya, the 3rd pitcher of this game. Saw Jace Fry face a lot of righties at the top part of this lineup. That's not normally how Rick Renteria would like to play it, but again, he's working with a very taxed bullpen in this series. I mentioned the usage of Minaya. He's up to 6 appearances in 9 games. They haven't had any off days during this stretch. They played 3 in Texas, 3 in Cincinnati, and now 3 in Houston on this road trip. And the pitch outside for a ball to Gaddis. Gaddis 2 for 4 with an RBI back in the 5th inning. The Astros are outscoring the White Sox in this season series 52-15. Gaddis tries to hold up and does. It's 2-0.
We're playing the White Sox again tomorrow. More opportunity to create a bigger difference in that run differential.
They did well against Lucas Giolito last time he pitched against them, as he was very wild in that game, walking 7 Astros. Evan kind of iced the game last night. Similar situation in the 8th inning. The Astros led 8-1, and Evan put one up on the train tracks to make it 11-1. Here they're up 10-6. Gaddis is questioning Angel Hernandez about that last strike call. He said, "I did not swing at that pitch, but it was called a swing by Angel."
His game is now complete.
Three and 1. Well, guess who's on deck? If Evan draws a walk, Kyle Tucker gets a chance to bat with the bases loaded.
That could be fun.
There were some people standing before his first major league hit, and then the entire crowd rose as that ball went into right field off the glove of Matt Davidson. And Tucker will bat with the bases loaded as Evan takes one up and in for ball 4. In his first big league game, Kyle Tucker will bat with the bases loaded. He hit a grand slam in his first game ever as an Astro in an exhibition against the Brewers.
They're getting up again.
39,568 today at Minute Maid Park. And they are standing for the 21-year-old.
He's going to try and make this his moment.
Ball 1. You know, Manaya has had control issues all year long. See how patient Kyle Tucker can be in this situation.
Good pitch to do it on.
I love the energy in this building right now. And they are into this at bat.
It has been phenomenal all season long.
Kyle's dad is the only one at Minute Maid Park sitting. Could be a good luck thing. With that walk to Evan Gaddis, Manaya has walked 16 batters this year in 17 innings of work. Three and 1.
Well, here you go. There may not be a roof on Minute Maid Park if he connects on this pitch.
Didn't chase. Ball 4. Astros score another run. Kyle Tucker gets his first RBI as a big leaguer on a bases loaded walk. Manaea. Yuli Gurriel crosses the plate with the Astros' 11th run. This game and last night, the Astros getting to 11 runs in the 8th inning. Cooper telling Manaea he needs some strikes. He's been used often in the last week and a half, but walking the first 2 batters in this game coming out of the pen. Tucker took a 3-1 pitch. And then at 3-2, Manaea missed the outside edge, and Tucker took one for a bases loaded walk. They're going to throw that ball out as well. Tucker now has his first base hit ball and his first RBI ball. A lot of authenticating going on in the home plate side of the Astros dugout.
I wonder how many jerseys he's gone through in this game. Probably one for the house, one for team store, one for someone.
Swing and a miss by Stassi. It's 0-1. Runner on every base. Reddick on third, Gaddis on second, Tucker on first. After striking out his first 3 times, Kyle Tucker now has his first big league hit, his first big league run scored, and his first big league RBI. Two and one. Nobody warming for Chicago. This is Manaea's inning to get through. We saw the same thing happen last night in the 8th inning when Hector Santiago was pitching in a game and nobody was warming up late. The White Sox did not want to use any other arms in this game with another game tomorrow. 3-1.
That's a tough situation for Manaea to be in. Man.
Base hit, right field. 1 run will score. Gaddis being held up. Astros going 1 base at a time here. It is now 12-6 on the RBI by Max Stassi.
The Astros are relentless. They're not going to take a break on anybody. Get those numbers when they can.
Stassi's driven in 2 today, knocked in the game's first run, and now he knocks in the Astros' 12th run. Here's Marwin Gonzalez. Marwin bats for the 5th time, the 4th time as a left-hand hitter. 2 for 4 with a double and a single for Marwin. Does not chase a pitch in the dirt. The game was a little closer. Jerry Pettis may have waved Gaddis around, who had a good jump off second, but this situation being a little conservative here with a 12-6 game. Hector Rondon had been warming up for the Astros to start the inning. He may still get into this game. It was a safe situation at the start of the inning. It's now a 6-run lead as Marwin shoots one foul. 1-1. Joe Smith is now warming up instead of Rondon in the bullpen. One and two is the changeup. There's a side-arming right-hander ready to come in for the 9th inning. First things first, Astros still with the bases loaded and 1 out. Ground ball slowly hit towards second. They make the play to second for 1, and they get the double play to end the inning. So the Astros add 3 more and lead 12-6 headed to the 9th. Brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by McDonald's. I'm loving it. 17 hits, 12 runs for the Astros. 6 runs on 6 hits for the White Sox. We head to the 9th inning. The Astros looking to move to 6-0 on the year against Chicago and continue this winning streak and move it to 5 games, and they will give the ball to Joe Smith in the 9th.
Now they're getting some word fresh off the DL. Joe Smith he's pitched in this series. He was on the 5th. He went an inning, gave up a hit, qualified for the win, throwing 8 pitches on the season. Had a couple of miscues in those outings, trying to get those numbers back down, but 20 strikeouts and 20 2/3 innings pitched.
Stassi with something in his eye before this inning starts. Got Behringer out there to make sure he's ready to go for the 9th. Astros started that last road trip with a win, and then they lost 3 in a row, won the last 2 against Texas, and now trying to win their 5th straight game. Kyle Tucker has had quite a debut after a slow start.
Got an opportunity to make a play out there in the outfield, staying with it with the help of George Springer hollering at him, and then it was a slider from Rondon that he raked into right field for that first major league hit. This place went nuts. First RBI with the bases loaded walk. Seems fitting for an Astro.
Omar Narvaez kind of changed this game a little bit. At the time, it was a 6-2 game when Narvaez batted with the bases loaded and doubled in all 3. All of a sudden, it was a 1-run game, and Narvaez would go to 3rd on a wild pitch. It was 90 feet away from tying this game for the White Sox, but then Will Harris struck out Tim Anderson, and the Astros would score 2 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th, and 3 more in the 8th. The Astros offense has scored in 6 of their 8 innings today and lead this game 12-6. That's a nasty breaking ball that just misses the edge, and the count's 2-2. ball into right field, getting down for a base hit. Narvaez continues his hot hitting. 2 for 4 today, and he is a leadoff base runner in the 9th inning.
Yeah, Narvaez hasn't been phased by anybody that's been on the mound in this series. One bat for the White Sox. It's been doing all right.
Here's Tim Anderson. 0 for 3 today with a couple of strikeouts. Will Harris struck him out, and also Charlie with one of his 8 strikeouts today. Ground ball towards short. Marwin makes sure of at least one at second. Anderson beats the relay throw. It was a quick turn by Altuve, but Anderson with good speed. So 1 out in the 9th. White Sox will send up a pinch hitter. Charlie Tilson will get his first at bat in this series. Tilson will hit for Adam Engel. Even though Charlie Morton did not finish the way he wanted to, allowing 4 of his 5 runs in that final inning in the 6th, he still is in line for the win. He went 5 2/3 innings and left with a 6-5 lead. The Astros never gave up that lead. Tilson coming in with a .271 batting average, appearing in his 36th game with the White Sox. Smith misses with the first 2 pitches. It's 2-0. There's a strike. Wow, pitch that really came in on him. It's 2-2.
Frisbee.
Called third strike. Joe Smith catches the outside edge. Tilson goes down looking, and that's 2 outs in the 9th.
Some crazy movement on that slider from Joe Smith. Got the swing and miss the pitch before, and then just backdooring that one. That 3/4 delivery and that spin that he creates. Massive movement over the outside corner.
Now facing Yoan Moncada. Moncada, a couple of hits today. Astros and White Sox will wrap up this 4-game series tomorrow. Dallas Keuchel will be on the mound for Houston. Lucas Giolito will face the Astros for the 2nd time this year. Dallas pitched well in his start against the White Sox in Chicago earlier this year. 6 innings of 1-run baseball. The other way, and Tucker gives it a look. It just fouled. Would have been fitting if Kyle Tucker could have made the catch for the final out in his big league debut. In a 12-6 game, it doesn't seem like there would be some big moments, but there were earlier. Will Harris keeping Narvaez at third, preserving a win opportunity for Charlie Morton. And then Alex Bregman following it up with a 2-run home run after the White Sox scored 4 in the top half. And the Astros would separate it from there. 2-2 pitch inside, the count's full. Astros 1 strike away from their 60th win of the year. They would match the Red Sox as the only teams with 60, and there it is. Joe Smith strikes out Yoan Moncada, and the Astros have won 5 in a row. They're 6-0 against the White Sox. And that is win number 60 on the year. They are 60-31. The Mariners lost today, so they now lead the AL West by 3.5 games. We will have more, including the post-game show, coming up after this.